Greetings! Welcome to the Chair Reviews, my weekly film review show. Which I tell you guys what you should watch. Sorry, something was making a noise over there. So, what you should watch at the cinema, and perhaps what you should rent on DVD. So, each week I'll go through a few my cinema trips and the DVDs I've watched, which probably was self-explanatory. But anyway, I do it quite drunk, so you've got to expect a few hiccups. Well, so I'll start with, I've got a few to get through this week, not too many. I'll start with the first film I saw this week at the cinema, that is, which is Paddington Marmalade Bear. Now, all of these children's projects that come up, you're kind of expecting the worst, I'll be honest, because a lot of what you get is Postman Pat, and you go along and it's not even you go along as an adult. You don't. Well, you do if you've got kids. But you go along and you're thinking, well, is Thomas the Tank Engine gonna be a transformer or something? What are they gonna ram up its arse to make it better for a wide audience? Just to mess it up, or just give it out to some cheap ass git who doesn't really know what he's doing. So, Paddington Bear. I saw the trailer a little while back, and I thought along those lines essentially. The bear falling down the stairs. That's all they seem to show. Just some slapstick stuff, and I thought, this is a Christmas cash-in. And then I read up, and it's directed by Paul King. And the name wasn't that familiar to me. I'm sure it's not the guy who sings "That's What My Heart Yearns For" now, is it? That was King. That guy's name was Paul King, wasn't it? Is it the same guy? It might be. If it is, kudos. It doesn't feel like it should be though. But anyway, he directed this film, which I own, which is Buddy and the Bull. Really inventive, really brilliant English film. Very, very English. About a guy who lives in his room. He can't get out. He goes on a European trip. Well, no, it tells the tale of his European trip. Simon Parnaby's in it. It's kind of Mighty Bushy, crowdy. Very, very British. I'm not fucking your face. If you've seen it, you know what I mean. But it's a really, really good film. And so I went in and okay, well then my hopes were a little bit higher. Felt slightly strange as an adult going up saying, one for Paddington, please, at 6:30 on a Tuesday. But so I sat in there at the beginning of the film. So it starts off, there's a little bit of plot. There's not much plot. So essentially, Paddington's in darkest Peru, as he always is, with his uncle and auntie. Something happens, and he comes to London. He has to come to London. To Paddington Station and meet up with the Brown family, who at first they don't want to take him in. Well, let's just leave it at that. It's a family film, they guess kind of what happens. But and Nicole Kidman is a taxidermist who wants his damn hide. She wants his hide. She wants to stuff that mother pretty badly. So he comes to London after the event. And during the first few minutes of the film, I was looking at the CG thinking, it's a bit troublesome for me. It's not quite Paddington. I remember the 70s show, the little stop motion bear. And it's weird, I was never that fond of Paddington Bear. It's not like a thing I went, Christ, Paddington's on. But thinking of those images, it evokes such childhood, such nostalgia for something I didn't even really love, but I suddenly felt quite protective about it. And I was watching the first few scenes, and perhaps it wasn't quite working for me. But then he gets to London, and he meets the Browns, and they are charming and they're funny. Sally Hawkins, Hugh Bonneville, I've never really seen him in anything. I don't watch Downton Abbey. Well, people do, but I don't. Is okay. He's funny actually. He's pretty good. Sally Hawkins, who I know on the last podcast I mentioned that some of Mike Leigh's female characters can tend to be a bit annoying. Well, wow, she was in Happy Go Lucky. That's probably the most annoying character I've ever seen in my life. She's wonderful in this. Really, really charming, funny, nice, just warm. Warm is the whole film. The whole film is bloody warm. It's as warm as a big blue duffel coat. And the kids are okay as well. They're not in it that much, actually, for a kids' film. They're not in it too much. But the star is Paddington. He really grows on you. He's just wonderful. His dark eyes, Ben Whishaw's voice. There was some controversy about the voice. I won't go into it now. But Ben Whishaw's voice is just perfect. Little, wondrous, little, thank you, Mr. Brown. So just gentle and brilliant and perfect and English. Really English. This film shoots London in a way that Hugo shot Paris, I think. Beautiful yellows at night, the yellows of the lamps and the snows. There are some wonderful visual cues going on, wonderful visual things, which Bunny and the Ball relied heavily on lots and lots of visual brilliance, really, but inventiveness is what I mean. Here it's in spades as well. When he's looking for a map of all the people with the same name, they all kind of pop up in trees around London. There are pictures on walls that do different things according to different moods, really lending it a magical sense as well. And at the end, honestly, I had a few tears. The bear's wonderful. It's a good, fun story. I don't think I've seen as good a family film in many a year. It's absolutely terrific. Might even squeeze in my top 20. Wonderful, wonderful. So go and see Paddington. Put on your hat, put on your blue duffel, go see Paddington. The next one I'll review is a film I saw just a couple of hours ago, which was Black Sea. Now again, I saw the trailer for this a while ago. I might need some more wine in a minute. I saw the trailer a while ago and I thought, wow, that looks like tosh, but possibly enjoyable tosh. Well, gore blimey, isn't it just? I went to see it. It's very English. Another really good English film. It's co-funded by Film 4, which is really nice because this looks like a big budget film, and I'm sure it isn't. I'm sure it isn't. But it's got a really good cast of Brits. People like Michael Smiley, who's Tyres from Spaced. You should know that if you're watching this. Ben Mendelsohn, the Australian guy, who is really one of the best actors around. I think he's just fucking terrific. And Jude Law, who I really like, who I've grown to like quite a lot recently. I think he's good. He doesn't quite nail the Scottish accent, which he's trying to put on, but it's good. And anyway, so he gets sacked from his job as a marine guy. That's what they are, fish people. And then somebody comes to him with a job to go and get a load of Nazi gold from the bottom of the Black Sea that's in a U-boat. I mean, that sort of story, that's the 60s story. That's what they started making in the 60s with people like Gregory Peck and David Niven or whatever, or some more fevered stuff in the 70s with Gene Hackman or something like that, or who was in Crimson Tide, obviously. But so this is Dirty Dozen go on a mission to the bottom of the sea and just wait to see who dies, essentially. Wait to see who goes mad, who argues with who. Half of them are Russians and half of them are Brits. And Australians, obviously. It looks like tosh, but it was executed brilliantly. There's hardly a let-up. The suspense works amazingly. There are wide shots when people like pop out of the top of the submarine on the seabed floor that are just brilliant, that harks back to like Alien or something. Like, really, really masterful shots, I think. Terrific. Yeah, the suspense just builds and builds and builds and goes on. Everyone plays a great part in the film. They look like they're kind of enjoying themselves in their badness, or nobody's even that bad, just things go wrong and it's tense. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I don't think there's been a better submarine film since Hunt for Red October, and that's like near 25 years ago. And so I thought it was really, really, really good. Again, it might push into my top 20 for the year. What's the thing? Yeah. So Black Sea, go and see it. I really started enjoying it halfway through because there was a prick 5 seats away from me who kept looking at his fucking phone. And I don't always do it, but this was a 40-year-old man or something, and so eventually I got up out of my chair, walked over and said, stop doing that, you're really annoying me and you're ruining the film. And he moved away, he moved into a different road because he couldn't stop looking at his fucking phone during a film. What a prat. If you are a person who uses their phone, stop it now. Just stop. Right, okay. So that's two good films. That's two good films. On DVD from Love Film, I watched this week. I'll just give you one because I'm running out of time. But I watched Rumblefish, Francis Ford Coppola film from 1983. Coppola did a couple of films. It's a film about gangs. It's a film with Matt Dillon. Matt Dillon, I'm gonna be hard. And Mickey Rourke playing his brother, who is really hard and respected, but doesn't seem like he should be. And so I do another impression. Nah, it's not. Dennis Hopper plays his dad. Plays their dad. But anyway, they're a kind of gang. They're a family gang. Dennis Hopper playing a nice drunk, which is probably the drunk part. Probably not a stretch for him. God bless his soul. God rest his soul. The nice bit, according to all accounts, probably a bit of a stretch. But anyway, I shouldn't denigrate the man. Very well. So yes. It's a film about gangs in some crap city in America. Obviously, shot in black and white. Very much one of Coppola's. You know, most directors have this. I'll do one for you for the studios, and then I'll do one for me. This looks like one for him, definitely. Very artfully shot, and some of the it's very stagey. So some of the acting doesn't come across particularly well. I don't think Mickey Rourke came across particularly well, nor some of the overall nature of the acting. As I say, this is Matt Dillon, I don't care. But it's very artfully shot. Some of it reminding me of some of the 60s British Woodfall films. Like very, very good close-ups. I don't know, it's some different styles. It's very artfully shot, and that is enjoyable. And plus there's a really, really cracking death scene. Not actually a death scene, but a character dies, and then he goes on this floating around journey around like his friends. He's like a body. An out-of-body thing. And it's really, really weird. And it works quite well. The downsides of the film are that it's just overwrought nonsense. Really, really silly. Like, absolutely stupid. Nobody talks like this. No gangs are like this. I don't know. They're just not like it, essentially. If you want to see gangs, watch Kids or something. But it's very artfully shot. It's one of his films. It reminded me of Tetro, which is when he kind of retired from Hollywood. He did this film about two brothers. Black and white again, but set down in South America, Mexico, I think. But reminded me of that a little bit, which again is very arty, enjoyable because it's arty, but kind of silly nonsense really. But you know, if you like Coppola, it's worth seeing. If you don't like stagey stuff, stay away from that one. I'm gonna get some more wine. That for production, eh? That's good. You like to hit those bits. Probably sitting just off centre as well. Right, what am I going to talk about now? Oh yeah, just a little break to do. It's Star Wars time. So that was a bit weak, but so the Star Wars trailer came out this week, and I just wanted to say a little thing about it. First, I really hated it. Star Wars and Empire Strikes Back, pretty much my favourite films. At first, I really hated it. JJ, I don't like either of the Star Treks that he did. I think the second one's particularly a travesty. Like a rape of Star Trek 2, essentially. A bad rape, a bad one. They're all bad. I just mean a particularly violent one. And I didn't like the first one that much. And so I'm very worried about what he's doing with Star Wars. But in this case, I didn't like it at first, and I thought it looked a bit CG. But now I've watched it a few times, and I'm a little bit excited. The little shot of the speeder when Daisy Ridley goes off on that, bang. That really worked for me. That looks like old Star Wars. So let's have a drink to Star Wars and a trailer, and let's get merry. Let's get excited about it. Let's just do it. Let's do it. On the other hand, apologies for the butt. On the other hand, I just saw the Terminator Genesis trailer today. God, I'm very 50-50 on that. Some parts of it look good. Why mess around with this story? That's it. That's what links it to the Star Trek thing. They are like, there's a line in the trailer. Oh, you come back, everything's changed. Everything's changed. That's what they did with the first Star Trek. This is a new timeline now, so we can do anything. We can make any trilogies. We can do what we want. Of course, the rights to the films revert back to James Cameron in 2018. They're trying to squeeze out this new trilogy. Let's see if it works, I guess. There are some bad... They relied very heavily on the come with me if you want to live. I'll be back. Da-da-da-da-da. I don't think it works that well. So they're not reinventing it. They're just cashing in. I think it's going to be a cash in. I think it's going to be shit. Let's just face it. It's going to be shit. But the effects look good. Anyway. So lastly, for the show, it is now time for... Classics from my attic. Classics from my attic. So, yeah, I'll do the cinema films and the films I've watched on DVD from Love Film. So anything I've seen for the first time. But then there's just, I'm rewatching all of these bastards from, not attics, they're bookcases, but it doesn't rhyme with classics. And they're not always classics either, let's face it. But they're going to be pretty good. So anyway, first off, and I don't do horrors much, was Halloween. I watched it on last Saturday. And I thought, I'm not like a massive John Carpenter fan. I know he's good, so don't hang me. I think he's pretty damn good. But I'm just not into horrors and, you know, that much. But I watched this and I wasn't looking forward to watching it that much. But I really enjoyed it, and it's just funny. They say he reinvented this or that. The slasher film, I think, came from this film, the slasher genre. And it is good. It is well produced. Some of the acting's chronically bad, like laughably bad, and it almost lampooning. Oh well, it was lampooned afterwards, I guess, because you know it's really awful. Like, okay, get me a beer, man. It's kind of terrible. But Jamie Lee Curtis is okay. But what he does with the film, Michael Myers just turning up and then disappearing out of frames and stuff. It's entertaining. I'm sure if you're a horror fan, you already know Halloween. It is good. It is one of the classics, so it's not one of my favourite films ever, but I definitely enjoyed it. He started a lot of this. He started the slasher genre. Is that a good thing? Nah, whatever. He gave you Scream, which is quite good as well. But it's an entertaining film. You know, for some of these tropes, it's really good. Seeing someone in the corner, turning around, they're not there. Da-da-da. But yeah, it's a good one. It's a thumbs up. But I'll leave you this evening with this, the Parallax View. This is a big The Chair recommend. Warren Beatty, 70s icon. Don't think he's just a woolly, long-haired man who likes sleeping with lots of women, which is what he was. But he was also a pretty strong actor, and he cared about his films. And this is one of Alan J. Pakula's, if it's Pakula, forgive me, but Pakula, one of his Paranoid trilogy, which came about after the Watergate. Clute and All the President's Men is the other one, which is about Watergate. But the Parallax View is my favourite of those three. It's just wonderful. It's just got that sense. I'm a big fan of 60s and 70s cinema, American cinema anyway. And it's got that real dread sense of the system is against you. And in this case, it really is. It's about a guy who starts getting involved in an assassination investigation. After a woman comes begging to him, Paul the Prentice comes begging to him to look into it. And because people are being killed all over the place. And he starts investigating it. And yeah, that's the plot. No more spoilers. But it's just wonderful. It's got this real apprehensive dread about it. It's got this beautiful lyrical lighting. And the way it's filmed is just wonderful. There's kind of quiet, there's overlapping sound, Altman-esque in certain scenes, and then it just cuts to a dead quiet with this brilliant score. But I can't remember who did the score. I won't know now. Just this amazing score. That sounds too triumphant, but it's not. It's kind of dark. It's superb score. And this standout scene where he has to undergo a psychopath test, and it's flashing all these images in front of him and all these words like love and war and mother, and it's really psychedelic, man. It's it's kind of fucked up. It unsettles you watching it because you kind of are involved in the experiment to an extent. It's just brilliant. It's dark. It's fantastic. It's the 70s, so there's no need to expect a happy ending. It's awesome. It's awesome. Watch it. Watch the Parallax View. And with that, I leave you. And with that, I return to watch the Star Wars trailer again. Goodbye.